Welcome back to the 2024 PDGA Masters Disc Golf World Championships. We are in the middle of the final day of this 5-day long marathon in Emporia, Kansas. The FP40 division making the turn for the back nine in the semifinal round. Grant Zellner and Jennifer Allen. Jennifer, you're part of this threesome, one of two threesomes on the course, working your way toward what you hope is a bid in the final nine and a chance at a podium finish. Ohn Scoggins, though, with a commanding lead over the rest of the field at 29 under par.
Yeah, this was a shotgun start, so we had a nice early start. We're going to start this back nine, hole number 10, 354-foot par 3. This road plays as a river, but there is a mando tree here to the left side. So trying to get a nice straight shot out around this big pine tree and try to get the disc to finish over to the left side. Pretty difficult hole. I think we're only going to see a 2 on this with a nice, really long putt. I don't think it was chewed all week long. I think no birdies on this hole. So just trying to pitch out that first shot safe. And like several of the holes, just really kind of playing this one for a 3.
Kind of pointing it over there.
And a big shout out to everyone who did come out to watch us play. We are about 35 plus minutes west of Emporia, but we still had a nice little group of spectators watching us.
Good little up.
Yeah, perfect approach to tap in. Ohn gets a little bit of a roll, but no problem for her at that range. Trying to hyzer it around the tree. And we will tap those in to start frame the 10th with a par. You can tap out. She is always smiles. It's always great to see her. She has been over the last 2 years, starting playing in FP40 at 39 with the awesome birthday, just right in the year.
Right. Yep. That's allowed.
So she is 40 this year, and she's always a pleasure to play with.
Here at the 11th, 329 feet, once again going around the ball field from sort of left field to right field. In this case, though, playing up. Have we come up with a good nickname for this little feature? We keep calling it the highest point in Kansas.
With the wind, it can be very difficult. Not too many players really risking making this putt. So like all the other holes, we are playing around to the right side of the ball field, setting up great for the forehand. Ohn's not hyzering over to the right as much as she wanted to. So I don't see her running it today, but you never know.
By the way, if you're a local or if you played frequently in the Emporia area, you saw what Jennifer just bounced that drive off of. If you have a name for that I don't know about, let us know in the comments.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone was able to get one to stick up there. I sure was trying.
Mount Swope? I don't know. Great shot there from Kaire. Perfect weight, perfect distance.
Yeah, now the decision to try to go for this putt or to lay it for the par. Ohn giving it a bid, and that is the luckiest break of just dropping straight down. She has putted back and forth a couple of times this week, but always making the comeback putt.
Did you damage your driver there?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
And just trying to kind of pitch up.
Straight up angle.
Yeah, that was exactly what the angle felt like. And this is hard because it's like, you know, it's a putt that normally you would be running, but you're literally just throwing your arm almost completely straight up in the air. And that's just not how the disc is supposed to enter the basket. So with windy conditions, it's just something that's kind of difficult to trust and not really need the risk of maybe turning a par into a bogey or a double bogey. So we are all just going to be tapping in for par.
Visit quirkygoodies.com today. We have over 100 fun, unique disc golf tees along with hats, stickers, metal wall art, and much more. Use code PDGA20 for 20% off.
Hole number 12, 305 feet for this par 3.
Again, playing around clockwise of the ballpark here. So the forehand shot sets up perfectly. OB road to the left as well as inside the ballpark and within circle's edge of behind the basket, the cable line right there. Not too many hyzers were thrown at it. This one does have a bigger area to land the hyzer than hole 3. I think a lot of us just don't feel like it's worth the risk. And not too many birdies on this hole as either for being 300 feet. So I don't know if the tall grass, as you can see, Ohn's had no action, or just the wind that maybe made this a little more difficult than it should have been. Again, I'm going with the putter because my Mako kept going long.
I'm not going
so
to
just
be
trying
long.
to get as close as possible.
Well, you know you're not going to get a great skip off of this thick grass, but if you do carry the disc all the way to the basket and then you do somehow get an unexpected skip, it's almost a guaranteed OB.
And there's a fatigue putt. That's what I'm going to start calling them.
Yep.
Ohn does not typically miss from circle's edge. Again, I'm trying to get these as high as possible, knowing that they've been hitting low. Completely empty. Like the tank, my tank personally, I'm not going to speak for anybody else, was completely empty. Just no energy left. And you don't see the bubbly Ohn that we typically see as well. So even though we're early in the morning, the humidity is still very high and it's pretty windy.
So hole number 13, a 300-foot par 3 playing between the ball fields.
Yeah, this is one, even though it's just 5 feet shorter, I feel like we've attacked this hole better than the previous hole. OB left and right, but pretty much out of the way unless you really expose the disc and get the wind to push it too far. This is one that you're really kind of hoping to get the birdie. I think all of us have the distance for this hole. That's a great line, but this disc is just too understable, and you can see the flag really blowing in the background there. So not allowing the disc to hyzer back towards the pin. And I think Ohn had been throwing forehand, so I think this is a switch to the backhand. And getting it right up there to inside circle's edge.
A little crosswind, sort of headwind putt.
Yeah, because of the wind, I kept it a little lower, and this would have been fine on normal grass, but again, absolutely zero skip.
Okay, re-putting first.
Finally trying to find the height and just a little to the right side. See Ohn's skirt just blowing, and again another missed putt inside the circle for Ohn. So this is just not what we're used to. So we're all hopefully just going to tap in our pars here, try to survive this round, and we have 9 more holes just within 4 hours of finishing this round.
Jennifer, at this point in the round, are you and Kaire watching the scores of the other threesome just to make sure that you're well positioned to be in that final 4?
No,
Not really?
I never watch.
That's
the
right.
scores.
You've said that before. You're not a big score watcher.
No, and I think the 4 of us were pretty set on going, and KK and Ellen were kind of battling for 5th and 6th. This is hole 14, 275 feet. Plays like an island that we're teeing off from. So OB surrounding the entire basket, left, behind, and to the right. Very easy to go long on this one. We did have a grass surface and a mat that we kind of tee off from, and you just kind of have to pick which spot you liked better because there's a branch to hang under. So most of us teeing from the grass, and you can see it's very thick. Getting the thick grass to keep her disc safe, so appreciating that. Ohn had been throwing the forehand and getting it caught really low right underneath this tree. And so she's switching to the backhand, and this looks great, but just way too much action.
Wasn't low.
Unexpected compared to what we've been seeing most of the time.
And I'm trying to just take the mid right at it. And I thought it was perfect. I just needed it to drop, and you could see the wind lifted it right when it got towards the basket.
Wow.
So both Ohn and I going from about the same spot over here outside circle 1. And there's one finally getting in. There's the happy Ohn we're used to seeing. But Ohn was going back and forth on the tee pad. She had the rock, she had her destroyer, and she was trying to decide because she had not been throwing backhand. Headwind right in her face. This is a risky putt.
Big lift.
Yeah, just a little too breezy. You can see her hair just going all over the place. So she's going to tap in the par. Ohn saving the par as well, and I'm going to take the bogey, and we are moving to hole 15.
The dynamic disc jury. Man, this thing's good. I love using it for my putter up shots or even just throwing it off the tee too. Real nice. I like spinning it for deep circle 2 putts as well. When the wind comes out, whether it's putting or throwing, it's just very reliable and I can trust it. And you know, it's even pretty solid for some little forehand turnover shots too. This thing's money. As soon as I got it, immediately made the bag. You should definitely try one out too, and you can find one at dynamicdisc.com.
Here we are at the 15th, listed at 412 feet, also listed as a par 3.
Yeah, this definitely plays as our par 4, and you can take the way that the drone is flying here to the left side. OB is very tight and narrow all along the left, but this does open and expose the basket much greater than if you go the right side, which is very tight as well. Maybe a little bit tighter than the left, and OB fence comes along, unfortunately, as you can see right here. So that left to right wind just pushing Kaire's disc, never giving it a chance to come back safe. Ohn and I will be taking the left side, and she is just pitching over. That is a mandatory hazard area, so she will get a unpenalized mark. Going with the Jen Allen Halo Rock 3, just letting it glide. Such a great disc. We're going to be about 180 feet away from the basket, I think.
It's Kaire over on the right-hand fairway.
Yeah, and this is not an easy shot either. Totally blind. That rock you see in the middle of the fairway is where you will start to turn to try to go up through the cedars to the basket. Ohn has the great forehand to come in. It's just finding the touch. She was really long the second time we played this course, so this time, unfortunately, she leaves it short. Thinking I have this dialed and just gonna punch through the trees. Unfortunately, it just hangs up there.
Just stayed there.
Never dropped.
Drop and go in. Drop and go in. They have like some.
So Ohn is getting nice and itchy, trying to get her legs all the way in. And gonna pitch out and around.
Well done.
Should be an easy 4,
Never
which
four this one.
again feels
Never
like a par.
three this one. Will be 4.
Well, it must be a par.
Yes.
Not quite as itchy of a lie, but still Kaire not with much to work with over here. And this is pretty elevated from where she is. It's pretty short, quick uphill angle from that side. Trying to putt around this tree and just can't get the turn and lift that I wanted. That one hurt.
Awkward little spot there.
Yeah, and very frustrating because that was the best drive and approach I had on the hole. So Ohn and I are going to card the 4, and Kaire will be carding the 5.
To the 16th. 470 feet. This one is listed as a par 4 with OB all the way up the left-hand side.
Yeah, so we're trying to just air out a nice drive and keep it over towards the right. So a nice S shot that doesn't come back in hyzer too quickly. Anything over to the right is safe, and most of us are just kind of pitching up to take the tap in birdie. Ohn and I did get the eagle on day 1. So it can happen. Ohn gets a good little wind bounce, and she's going to have a look.
We've talked about the wind so much this week. Is it generally the same direction as it's been all week?
It really has been. It's a little different from when we practice, but it has been very consistent during the actual tournament.
Okay.
Letting that one down a little too low. It's going to cut into the grass. This is a beautiful line right at the basket. Kaire's going to have to look for eagle as well. I'll take that tap in birdie. Got to be careful on hitting that flint. It'll give you a little bit of a bounce when you're just kind of trying to keep it close.
I got to shout out the Ace Run Pro guys. I like these camera angles because in the background, back and forth, there's Conrad, there's Felix. There's Conrad, there's Felix.
Yeah, and they put in a lot of work and battled this heat and humidity with all that equipment all week long. So definitely a big shout out to Ace Run Pro for being out here all week long to bring all of you this awesome coverage of the FP40 division. So lots of birdies, and we are almost done. 2 more holes.
The first will be the 17th, just 255 feet.
And that is a little too long. It's about 200 feet, 215, I can't remember. But definitely shorter than 250, and the OB is directly behind the basket, which does slope down just a little bit as well. So most of us just kind of pitching up a putter or going around the outside with the hyzer.
Ohn throwing first.
And she got caught up in this tree the last time too, just not making it through. That is not a Mando. Don't have to throw between the trees, but it does play nicely to line you up to the basket. So going just a little bit too far down the hill. And you can see it's still breezy. This is a beautiful line, but the wind kind of pushing it a little bit to the right. She has just a perfect little putter toss, like no effort. And she's always dialed in on that approach.
Oh, get up. I just don't.
Thought I had plenty on it. Gonna tap in another one. Getting
Solid
the
putt.
great birdie to stick.
And just
Not
one
the
to go.
Yeah, not the scores that we had the previous rounds out here, but not going to really do too much on the scoreboard.
Nobody is immune to a course like Northwood Black.
Just throwing laser beams.
That's so good.
Bresnell, the birdie, the fist pump.
Critical shot.
Got to get up. Bresnell.
That is a shot of a champion.
Your 2024 Champions Cup winner, Andrew Bresnell.
The 18th is a 268-foot par 3.
Yeah, this one was about 285 actually. And then you add in that uphill and a very strong right to left wind. Try to bank it off the backboard there. Hanging basket. This is one that has been definitely playing under par for most of the week.
Where's Justin?
She had no more room in her bag for onions or garlic. It was unreal the amount that she picked today. This is a beautiful shot. The wind just lifting it into the tree, unfortunately.
And it stayed there, at least for the moment. I have a feeling if you left it too long, it would probably blow down, but...
Ohn getting a beautiful line, wind helping, lifting it up, and she is going to be about 15 feet away. Going with the Cayman, trying to take kind of the same line as Ohn, just a little bit higher. And unfortunately, the wind lifts it. I am not OB, but I do not have any look at the basket. So Kaire just taking it directly underneath, no penalty stroke. But she is outside circle 1. I'm just going to pitch it under. She's going to finish at 3 over for today. I'm just pitching over. There's no way that disc could go in the basket. Maybe if a left-handed putt, hyzer, maybe. No problem for Ohn. That's going to take her down to 3 under for the day. And we will take a look at the final standings. Top 4 will proceed to Champions Landing for the final 9 of the 2024 FP40 Division Masters World Championships.
There you have our threesome for today. Ohn by 20 over Jennifer, by another 4 over Kaire. But now we look at the whole field, and Stephanie Vincent has entered the chat and will be the 4th member of that final foursome, taking on 9 holes at Champions Landing. They'll be doing that later on this same final day of the PDGA Masters World Championships. We'll be back with that coverage of that final 9.